Hi, my name is Desiree. What's stuck in my head is it's time to begin, isn't it? I get a little bit, but I'm changing it to it's time to reflect, isn't it? I get a little bit bigger, but then I admit I'm just the same as I was. I'm never changing who I am. That's stuck in my head, and I'm talking about reflection because, as I've been saying, it's almost my stay-at-home calls for poetry's book birthday. Woo woo. And so I wanted to talk in this video about the first page, and I wanted to break it down some and I guess reflect. And so that's why I said it. So let's just start. The poem, I'm going to read it. It's called All Talk. And then I'll break down each 6-word story or 6-word line, because each line is 6 words and there's 3 lines. All talk. You're all talk and no improvement. You're all talk and no change. You're all talk and no movement. So this is how I start my poetry book, and it's a calling out myself type of poem, because I remember me in middle school talking about writing all the time, and when I graduated middle school and was going to move on to another school, a bunch of students, or even seniors, or I think they're still called seniors, or even the 8th graders who were leaving before me, because I was a 7th grader, when they were graduating, they were even saying things like, I can't wait to read your book. You're going to be an amazing writer in the future. And teachers and younger students, or students under me, or peers under me, were also saying this. And I did not realize how much I talked about writing, but I know I love writing, and I know I loved it then, and I had a bunch of notebooks and notepads that I would just write in, handwrite, and just create a bunch of stories. But picture me in 2020 and 2021 having not published a book, and not even like published like a journal, or not a journal, sorry, or like sent like a short story or a poem to a literary magazine or a journal or some type of short, and not anthology, but like short publication. And so I felt like I was all talk and no improvement of myself getting things done. I had not improved. I guess you could say I did improve in my writing, because I literally went to college for English with a concentration in creative writing, and I minored in sociology. So I was doing short story workshops, writing workshops, and sharing my writing, or sharing some stories I was working on. But once I graduated, I went straight into work, and I feel like I put writing aside, and I didn't realize that until we all had to stay at home. So I think that's another reason that I title my poetry collection Stay at Home Calls for Poetry, because it called me to reflect. And so it was I was judging myself for feeling like I talked so much, and then where did that passion go? And so I felt like I was going backwards instead of forward. And then to reflect on the second line, you're all talk and no change. This connects because I was at home with my family still at the time. I wasn't seeing friends as much as I wanted to, or as much as is healthy for me to, or communicating through text or talking over the phone as much as I would like. I was saving money, but I wasn't saving as well, or I didn't have the knowledge to save more yet. I was saving and budgeting, but I could have saved more and had a more structured plan that I know now that I didn't know then. And so it kind of felt like I was stuck. I was staying comfortable. And I knew that had to change during my journey of writing this collection. I knew it was time for me to change, and it was time for me to do more and to also push towards going after my passion, my career, my talent, my skill, and just doing something with it, and not keeping these stories held within or just on my screen and not shared with the world. And during that time, Les Brown was going live on Facebook, I think, and he was also talking about, like, it's time, like, don't, I always quote him, but it's not his quote, and he says it's not his quote, but he says, like, an amazing thing that he heard is that the richest place is the graveyard, because, and I butcher it, I don't say the ending well, but because that's where a bunch of dreams have died or haven't been lived and shared with the world, and so those dreams died with that person, and I don't want that for me. And so it was a very powerful quote that stuck with me, and so I don't keep it in the back of my mind every day, but like in moments like these, it comes back to my mind of like why I need to keep going and why it's important for me to share. I just came across something else that also was kind of motivating me in that same direction, or that same thing. I just read it on Instagram where it was saying like how this is our skill and use it. Oh, no, it wasn't on Instagram. So I was watching a Love Qualified video, and she was sharing how she was watching a video about a business, a woman of business, and having faith in God, and talking about your skill set that you have. It comes natural to you, and you may not realize that it doesn't come natural for someone else. And so therefore, it's good to share it and to use that gift and that talent, because it's yours and it keeps coming to you. So don't waste it. Use it. Do something with it. And it's very true. And that was a good reminder that I had just today. And then the third line, you're all talk and no movement. It ties with everything I just said, but also I wanted to play with improvement and movement, because improvement to me meant I was moving, or I was inclining and going into the direction that I needed or wanted to go. And then movement was that I was taking steps, doing actions, and I wasn't at the time. Or I wasn't previously before starting this collection. Or maybe I was in tiny random spurts or moments, but it wasn't consistent, and it wasn't a full plan or a full push from myself. And so I didn't like that I wasn't doing movement. I didn't like that it felt like I was just all talk. Like, I'm going to be a writer. I have all these stories. I am a writer. I want to be an author. I want to sell books. And my mom was giving me, like, how to write a screenplay, how to write a play, and, like, giving me these helpful books that I can start, like, comparing and learning. And have I read any of them yet? No, I have not. But are they in my mind still? Yes, they are. And so I didn't like the idea of myself just being all talk, that I'm just talking about my dreams and my goals and what I do, but there was no show of that. Oh, okay, yeah, I see your talent, or yeah, I see you're going places, or I see what you're doing, I see what you're sharing in the world, I see your stories. It wasn't there, and I didn't like that, and I don't want to be all talk and no improvement, no movement, no change. It's important for me to keep going. And so I wanted those statements to be said so that I can propel myself forward, so that I don't stay in this spot, but now I take those steps to go forth and be the author I see myself being, and also be the writer, because I don't see myself just writing books. I see myself also creating screenplays and now creating a play. So during 2020 and 2021, I got into children's books. And then end of last year, 2022, I got into writing plays. And I've only written one, and it came to me from a dream idea about this new restaurant that kind of encourages like flirting with your partner, and like just being like, just having those little intimate moments in public, but not too intimate and not too much PDA, but having some public display of affection, having some in this restaurant. It's allowed, but they have limits to it. And it's very interesting, and I like the idea of it, and I wrote a draft of it. I share it on my YouTube channel if you want to see, or if you want to hear about it a little bit more. But that's new for me to get into that field of being interested in writing plays, because childhood me and high school me knew I wanted to write novels, and I knew I wanted to write either for TV or for movies. Children's books and plays is a new addition. And also childhood me knew music. So I write lyrics sometimes, even though I'm not a singer. And so I have all these different branches of writing, but nothing's out. And so this book was my first step. And so I'm happy that I published this book. And I guess this was a nice reflection to just remind myself that I took this step. I'm now on the second step, working on a novel. I did write that play. I do have a bunch of children's books I've been working on, because I'm in a critique group with 4 other women working on children's books. And so I just need to keep going and figure out the right ways for me to share my work, to connect with people that can help me get my work to the right places, and then also just to get my ideas out on paper so that they can be in the world and connect with readers and connect with people that need these stories and need to feel not alone. Because that is my goal, is to show stories about struggle, stress, and upbringing, but show different ways and different upbringings, because there's so many people in this world, and we all have experienced so much in different ways, but there are ways we connect. And sometimes there's repeated, or I feel like we see a lot in shows and movies, repeated stories, but where's the new way, or where's the other stories that aren't shared, but I feel like need to be acknowledged so people don't feel alone? And so that's what I'm trying to share, while also providing hope at the end. Because I know in high school, I digged for a lot of stories about stressful upbringings that wasn't connected with drugs, alcohol, or like having a career, or like wanting the struggle of wanting to pursue a career, but the career's in sports, or the career's in music. Like, no, it's the struggle of just like wanting to be so for me, I was looking for stories that spoke about the struggle of wanting to be yourself and be open among your family and friends when you hold stuff in, when maybe you're dealing with depression, or maybe your living situation looks different than your friends or those around you. And so I was looking to connect with stories like that, and they were hard to find. And so now I kind of want to provide that outlet. And I feel like sometimes I still will slip and maybe have some plots or some points in my books that do feel like, oh, I've heard this type of plot line before, but I want to do it differently. That's my goal, is to show it in a different light and show other sides of what being a human is, and what being stressed and what upbringing looks like for different people. So that is my goal. Yeah, so I just wanted to share that today. My poetry book is about me embracing my voice, because I am an introvert and I was the quiet friend in the group. And I feel like when we put family first, sometimes we don't want to add stress. I'm going to speak for me. Putting family first, I didn't want to add stress sometimes when I know my parents are already stressed. So I kept things within, and that doesn't mean it's healthy, and that doesn't mean it's right, but I tried to, I guess, find other outlets through TV shows or through writing to explore my emotions or release or distract me from my emotions. But there comes a time where I have to acknowledge these emotions. And this was me finally taking the step to acknowledge it, to realize that I need healthier habits and I need to talk, embrace my voice, and open up more, because I need connection. So yeah, I'm on a journey. I'm on a journey. But I appreciate you for watching and following my journey. Again, if you would like to celebrate my book's birthday, my book's birthday, you can buy the ebook now, or you can buy the paperback. It is available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. The ebook should be Kindle, Kobo, Apple, the Apple Store, and the Google Play Store, and other places, because I'm getting familiar with where the ebook is available at. But you'll see the link, and you'll see the link for my paperback. You can buy it from my website if you want to help me get more pay, because there's a royalties for when I go through like Ingram Spark or through Amazon, but when it comes directly from my website, your purchase, I receive more of the money. So whatever way you can afford to help me, I appreciate it. Or if you just want to share this video, or follow me on YouTube, or follow me on my Instagram. I'm Stories by Desiree. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget, just write your story, and take care.